Hey guys, welcome back. This is Val from Dreamlight. In today's video, I'm going to show you how to create these incredible makeups for your DAZ renders. What you see here is the makeup I've done, and here is the original DAZ Studio render using my photo studio, which you can download for free. Link below this video. And so the most incredible thing, you can do this in just a few seconds and create something like that, and you have full control over the shape, the makeup, all the individual details. So I'm going to show you how that works. So here is the project. It's a side-by-side view. The left is the original render, and on the right here is the redone image. Now I'm going to back off a little bit. I'm going to start from scratch so you can see how this works, and this may take a little bit longer, a few more seconds to get into the final state, but once you have done all the initial tweaks, you are doing tweaks in seconds, and it's just incredible. So I've been using this software for quite some time and just blows my mind. I'm not even using the latest version. I think the latest version is Portrait Pro 22. I think it's $40 software. I'm not affiliated with the software, but I just adore how it works. So I wanted to do a quick video here and show you how that looks like. So I'm going to click on Open Image, and here I'm going to choose my initial render, which is a straight DAZ Studio render. There is no post work in it at all. Now you can go, as you can see, the software does initially apply some kind of quick quick look, if you will, and there are presets, so you can just click on them and get some cool looking stuff like glamorous. All right, you can quickly get into those states immediately, but I'm going to show you some secrets to making this looking really good, and one of them is to not overuse it. And this is something that is true for whatever kind of makeup you're doing or post work you're doing. A lot of people add a little bit too much. So I'm going to start off just from scratch, no sculpt, no changing, no nothing, right? And here, reset to original. The first thing that happens is that, let's just go back here, is that you can select the face and the facial features or edges or what that everything is. And the software does a pretty good job at selecting that initially. However, at times there might be some differences or nuances or things obstructing your view, so that you may want to adjust this. And this is not something you have to do like prior to editing. You can always go back when you apply makeup, when you apply lipstick and you think, man, it kind of ends up outside. You can always go back here and retweak where those lips are, right? You can zoom in here and just reposition where the lips are. You can always go back here and tweak this live anytime you like, right? So this is something I like about this software, because a lot of quick one-click applications out there, including those on mobile applications for iPhone or for smartphones, they are kind of automatic. You don't get to choose and adjust things here. You can adjust exactly and really get it to look perfect. All right, so what we want to do is first, you just, as I said, quickly select where the things are located, and once you're done roughly, it's time for the fun. First of all, you can do something called face sculpt, and face sculpt is what it sounds like. You can change the proportions of the face. You can change how the eyes are skewed or not, how big they are. And a quick tip, big eyes are extremely attractive for some reason. That's something all people want to have, a little bit larger eyes if you want them to look more happy or open, or just plain simple attractive. All right, and there is more. You can do forehead reshaping, you can do jaw reshaping. All right, for the eyes, you also have left eye individually and right eye individually. And again, a quick tip is to have some kind of difference between the eyes. I mean, our left and right eye are not looking the same. So the trick is to not have them look even. The trick is to make them look a little bit uneven, because that is more real. It's like a real person. Okay, you can even have eyebrow shape. Okay, left or right. You can do that individually, right? Cross-eyed. How cool is that, right? And why didn't we already cover that? You have mouth shape. You do different stuff here. Upper lip, lower lip expression, blur lip line. You have those options. You can just do the master slider of all, and then individually control here. Upper lip. You can get the Elvis Presley lip, all right, and lower lip, and expression. Really cool. And also blur lip line. I'm not going to cover everything here, but plump lips, it adds a little bit larger lips. And again, larger lips is something we find extremely attractive for some reason, right? And there is also individual here on upper or lower if you want to. Then there's the nose. So right now I'm walking you through the sculpting of the face. This is not the makeup, the quick makeup I was referring to, but this is something you can do if you want to really get extremely cool results, right? You can streamline your approach here and change how the nose looks like. You have nose shape, shortened nose, all right, and all that. Slim tip, slim nose. So you can play with that. Neck, lens correction, all that. You can change how the face is behaving a little bit. Change if you're zooming in or zooming out and so forth. Neck and all that. So there's some few options here. And expression and hair volume, you can change that as well. Cool. Now when you're done with the face, that's where the real fun begins. You got something called skin smoothing. And skin smoothing is something you can do to remove blemishes. Now, I strongly encourage you to keep your imperfections in the face. A lot of people do something like this. They just smack in max and remove all there is. And that doesn't look real. That's the dreaded Photoshop look. You don't want that. You want pretty much nothing in here. I maybe do a tiny bit, just maybe remove something, but I want to keep those details. I want to keep those imperfections, that a little bit reddish tone here, a little bit yellowish tone here. You don't want that to look absolutely perfect. Why? Because it doesn't look natural. If you want to have a little bit more natural post work, you want to keep those imperfections. All right, you can sharpen things here. You can trim the eyebrows and all that. There is additional details, spot removal. Now, skin lighting. What is that? This is something incredible. And modeling will sculpt the face. Look at that. It sculpts the face and keeps, the center slightly brighter. This is just incredible. Just that alone lifts up the entire face, right? Like a 3D effect. And you have contrast. You can, play with that. And also fixed lighting that removes the shadowing in the image. I don't think you should do that. So you can also apply left shadow and right shadow. So let's say you are applying the sculpting effect and you think, I want a little bit less lighting on the right side, on the left side. So you exaggerate the shadowing effect on this side. And usually the side facing the camera can be a little bit darker. Not too much. You don't want to do a horror show here right now, but that's something you can do. Kick is an extra light. You can do on the left side or right side. I usually don't do that at all. Smoky eyes, yes please. All right, smoky eyes. Pout. It adds a shadow underneath the lips to make them pout. Very neat. Like I said, we love larger lips. Just look at the industry out there, right? The beauty industry. Sculpt nose adds a line, a white line here at the top of the nose to streamline it, and also sculpt it with shadows on the sides. Very neat. And this is without changing the look. This is a makeup effect that all professional makeup artists do. They sculpt the body, they sculpt the bones, they enhance the features, darken things that they don't want to see. So this is something people do all the time. You can change the skin color, you know, have it, you know, like a temperature change. I think a little bit pale is cool for her here. I think she looks a little bit reddish in tone. So that's pretty cool, right? There is a lot of stuff you can do here. Tan, you can tan your characters. I'm not gonna do that right now, but there is, you know, you can spend a lot of time playing here. But now we get to play with the makeup options. And here's where the real fun begins. Again, you have a master slider, and the master slider covers everything in here, all right? So set this to medium, and then start to play. Lipstick, you can choose how much, you can choose what kind of texture it has, right here on the lips, right? The color, how much shine you want, coverage, and all that, right? And it's just incredible how we can play with that. It's really, really cool. And again, if you find that, you know, this effect here ends up being inside the lips or outside, you can always go in here and tweak this line. See, when I do that, I change where the effect goes here, right? So at any time you apply something, you think, that doesn't really work out well, you can always tweak it here and get it to, you know, blend perfectly. Cool. All right, so then you have mascara, and you have a lot of cool options here. Okay, you can really go nuts in here. And when you apply this, here you got softness, and softness is kind of important. When you're doing a render, they are usually a little bit more softer. So when you add mascara, you want to, you know, soften it a little bit so that it matches the softness of the render. Too sharp of a mascara will not work well. You can nudge it up to make it work with your render, and also the lower portion. And if it's, again, not aligned perfectly here, what you can always do is tweak the eye here, and see, that changes exactly how it's affected. So you have very much control over exactly where that ends up. So I like that. It's not just automatic one click. It's, you can play with it. You can play with it and exactly match it where you want it to be, and how much and how soft and all that. So again, you can tweak how much, right? And don't do too much. That's going to be a little bit too obvious. Always go with a little bit less than you think you need. All right. You got upper eyeshadow. See, you can play with the upper eyeshadow here, and you can decide, well, what kind of texture do you want? What kind of shape do you want? Cat or full banana, almond, smoky. All right. What kind of color do you want? And here you can choose the color here as well, or just, you know, go a little bit darker here. I tend to like the darker look as my preference. You can adjust inner opacity and outer opacity individually. There are sometimes, depending on how the model looks like, people that have a little bit, you know, the eyes a little bit more together, you can play with darker and brighter inner and outer eyeshadow to kind of move the eyes and repel the eyes. And some makeup artists also place the outline here on the eyes bright, just to give the impression of a larger kind of eye movement or so forth. You can move the eyes and change the position with darker and brighter items. So it's really cool. So here you got additional eyeliner you can play with, all right? And there's so much options, it's just crazy. What kind of upper application, thick cat eye, or just whatever, right? There is so much stuff here. You can have really fun here, right? So blusher, you want to have a little bit blusher, but not too much. That is the kind of accents the cheekbones. So as you can see, you can just continue and play here. And frankly, you know, it's not about adding a gazillion effects. It's about tweaking things here initially, and you're pretty much done here. I'm just over exaggerating here and showing all the options, because you don't need to, you know, exaggerate all the options here, right? Fine tune that so it is placed correctly on the eye here. You got lower eyeshadow. I mean, come on. So you have full control over exactly how your image looks like, and there is so much stuff. You can go crazy in here, right? And I mean crazy in a good way. This is the fun stuff. A bronzer. I'm not using that one, but it's here, right? You can play with that. Highlighter. Okay, you can highlight different portions, the brighter parts of your face. All right, let me just back it off a little bit. Highlighter. Cool. So eyebrow pencil. I mean, come on. See that you can really play and create your images here. All right, so let's move on. You got eye. On eyes, you can do whiten the eyes. Let's do master slide a bit more. You can whiten the eyes. You can have clean eyes. You can have whitening area, darken pupil and all that. Sharpen eyes. It's often, I would say you can sharpen the eyes a little bit just to make them sparkle a bit more. You can brighten the iris. That makes it also catch a little bit more. It's a little bit more catchy in your face. You can change the eye color. You have contact lenses. You can add eyelids. See, I mean, come on. It's incredible. You can also add a catch light. That's additional reflections for you. You can then click here and select what kind of reflection you want, and you can move them individually and place them so that you get larger eye reflections that really pop in your eyes. I mean, this is just incredible. You can tune it down if you want, or just go full. Eye reflections are very important because they make the eyes really glow and you know, kind of pop out of the screen. Furthermore, there is much more you can do here. You can do mouth and nose. All right, you can whiten teeth. I strongly recommend you do not whiten teeth too much. That will just look unnatural. And usually you don't want the teeth to be brighter than the eyes. All right. You got lip saturation, lip darken, all that. There is so much cool stuff. Okay. Hair control. You can also change, you know, hair color, change styles and all that. I'm not gonna do that right now. And it's also a little bit difficult to change dark hair. It's much easier to change a brighter hair, right? But there is a lot of options here for hair as well. And then you got picture controls. And this is like a final additional thing you do here, right? You can have some exposure, kind of like a modeling light, if you will. You can play with shadows, blacks, contrast, and all that, right? You have vibrance, temperature. I usually think a little bit colder is kind of cool, kind of like a model-ish type. Vignetting. It's kind of like an advanced vignetting here because you can go ahead and, you know, play with, tone the edges of the image, and you can move this hotspot up and down and select, you know, how intense it is and all that. So it's kind of advanced vignetting. I always add some kind of vignetting to my renders to get more attention right in the center. All right, then you can play with high and low key and add a bit more if you want that as well. Then go on a cool thing called shine, which is also really cool. And that shine effect has additional effects here. You can have amount and softness and, you know, all that. So really cool stuff. And you can see I've spent a few minutes here now, but I've also showed you exactly all the functions, right? Pretty much all of them. There is more stuff you can do here with layers. You can change the background and add overlays and all that, and additional tools down here. So there's a lot of cool stuff. And here is the final image, all right? And when you once you sculpt and adjust the face, you can then change the makeup in seconds. You can just tweak it all you want and just take seconds. It's all live and interactive. And you save the project. You don't have to save just the final image and then forget everything you've done. You save the project. You keep all the sliders intact. So remember, this is the original DAZ Studio render with no post work, all right? And this is the image I created just in a couple of minutes, just a few tweaks, and it looks like that. So I think this is by far the coolest makeup tool ever invented, because it's so easy to use, it's always interactive, you can always tweak and adjust the face so that the effect ends up exactly where you want it, which gives you ultimate control. And I think in the end you want speed, you want precision and control, right? But you also want the results to look great. So remember guys, don't overdo it. Better to use, and the thing is, better to use less than too much. All right, and always you have always a master slider of everything, right? So you can always check just how much of the tweaks you want to have. This is the original face, this is the face we slightly alter, right? Keep it as close to the original as possible. Same thing here with skin smoothing or all the makeup options. You always have a master slider. You can tune it down to get the original or go nuts, right? Don't go nuts. There's a time and place for that, but not with post-work. So guys, thanks so much for watching. That's all for today's video. Like I mentioned before, this render was done inside DAZ Studio using my own photo studio, which you can get for free. There a link below this video. This software is $40 or $50, I can't recall. I'm not affiliated with it. I just love this software and adore it. That's why I want you to see it. So guys, have fun with your female renders. Have fun with makeup options. Now go ahead, it's your time to shine, alright? Thanks so much for watching. See you soon again.